Hi, Emile. So you've sent another set of essays. Green energy is the topic. Let's get straight to it. Experts throughout both the developing and developed world have debated whether green energy saves the environment and money, or if it is a threat to energy security. I firmly support the former view. This essay will discuss both sides using examples from personal experience and recent research, singular, to demonstrate points and prove arguments. Okay, it's fine. I mean, it's pretty standard. You just have to be careful of some of those grammatical errors that you made with articles and with here we put that plural where this is uncountable. So just be careful. Let's move on. On the one hand, there is ample evidence that renewable energy, such as solar panels, affects our lives and the planet in a positive way. It should not be forgotten that green energy not only saves the environment by avoiding fossil solid fuel. What is that? Fossil solid fuel. I don't understand. It should just be fossil fuels. But also the expenses of the individual. Okay. For instance, recent empirical research has shown that installation costs for solar infrastructure have fallen 70% since 2006, and the period of payback is 5 to 7 years. Consistent with this line of thinking is that choosing green energy leads to useful investment in global warming prevention. Therefore, it is conclusively clear that eco-friendly options save, this should be save, not saves, both the environment and finances. Okay, let's see. Here you talked about avoiding fossil fuel. Okay. All right, you know what's missing for me? What's missing is some sort of explanation about how renewable energy is better for the environment than fossil fuels. You've mentioned it multiple times, but you never actually developed it in any sort of real way. Here you said that it affects our planet in a positive way. You said it saves the environment by avoiding fossil fuel. And then your example only talks about money, okay? Then you talk about investment and global warming prevention. But again, you never really genuinely explained to me how this happens and how solar panels are better than fossil fuels. You never went into any detail about that. So it feels certainly underdeveloped as far as that's concerned. It sounds like you mentioned that there is a benefit environmentally several times, but again, you never actually went into any sort of support for it with any sort of example or any sort of further illustration to explain what you mean. So next paragraph then says, on the other hand, global warming, fossil fuel, and its security, all right, I don't understand this, comprise some of the largest economic challenges to any government. Okay. Nevertheless, fossil fuel is a considerably larger threat to security than green energy. This is largely due to the fact that quantities of solid fuel are limited, whereas solar panels are created to make energy even during the rainy periods. Take, for example, the day we finish all the Earth's oil. If that day came soon, there would be the only... Okay, if that day came soon, the only way to ensure security would be investing increasingly more in renewable energy projects. So you had a really good idea to do this conditional sentence here. Unfortunately, it had a grammatical error, and so that's kind of problematic there, okay? Okay. Consequently, it is possible to state beyond doubt that sources of wind or sun can ensure energy security instead of creating it. All right, we're going to talk about this a little more in a minute. Let me just go through your conclusion. From the arguments and examples given, I firmly believe that green energy is the only way to protect our environment and save money, not the money. It is predicted that this kind of electricity will increasingly grow in importance. Okay, that's fine. Just that grammatical error with the. Now, let's talk about that second paragraph now. The idea, okay, you covered this in the first paragraph, even though I think you really underdeveloped this idea about being better for the environment. I already told you that. But let's take a look at that second thing that you're supposed to talk about, which is that green energy is better for energy security. Did you really talk about that? Let's see what your paragraph here really focused on. You said that fossil fuel is a larger threat to security. And you never said security. You never said energy security. You just said security. I wish you would have said energy security. So you said fossil fuels are a greater threat. You said that they're limited in quantities. And then you say, you know, one day they'll run out, and then, hey, guess what won't run out? Renewable. So I just think that the focus of your paragraph was incorrect. You were asked to talk about how green energy may pose a problem of energy security, not fossil fuels, okay? So I know that you're probably thinking, okay, well, I basically disproved that green energy is a threat to energy security by showing you that no, in fact, fossil fuels is a threat to energy security. But that's not what you've been asked to do. You've been asked to discuss this view that, okay, there are people who think that green energy is a threat to energy security. Why do they think that? What kind of logic do they have? What kind of reasoning do they have for this? And that's what you're supposed to actually discuss, not that you're supposed to refute this and say, no, this is wrong. It's, in fact, fossil fuels that are problematic, okay? So the focus of this is in the wrong place, and that needed to be changed. Other than that, you had some grammatical things, like a lot of those things that I've seen before with your essays, like wrong articles, you know, using them where you shouldn't and not using them where you should, things like that. You had that problem with that nice grammatical structure. It sounded like it could have been really good. Unfortunately, it had that error that kind of ruined the effect of it, okay? So think about those things, and let's see. Okay, here we've got the map. The map shows an island in two different stages of development. The first stage is prior to construction. The second image is afterwards. Good. Oh, you copied Ben's example? All right. Well, did you really? All right. I haven't read Ben's example in a while, so let me see what you wrote. I don't know what you copied from it. I'll give you, after I read your essay, some of my feedback. So, both islands roughly measure 150 meters across, and this remains the same over the period. The two islands have the same beach on the left side of the island. The first island is rather sparse with just 8 trees. This is reduced further to just 3 after the construction has been started. On the developed island, there are 14 new accommodation houses and 3 large new complexes located near the newly installed pier at the lower point of the map. Also, there is a new lake on the right side of the island. A vehicle track leads from the pier and connects the large 3 buildings. These buildings, oh, I don't like this at all. These buildings, no, are connected by footpaths to the small houses. Boats are now present. Careful on the new map. All right, again, I don't know what you copied from Ben's example. I mean, I think you did a pretty decent job. I like that you talked about the first island. That's really important. I have to tell you that most people don't do that. They neglect to do that entirely. You didn't, and so that's really nice. Let's see. You talked about that it had 8 trees and nothing else. And then you mentioned that afterwards only about 3 of those trees remain, and that's accurate and that's good. You covered all the main points here. You covered the beach, you covered the houses, you covered the fact that there were footpaths and vehicle tracks. That's true. You covered those 3 main complexes. It's actually, I don't know if you can see it, but it's a hotel. No, wait, it's a hotel, it's a mall, and I think that's a restaurant. Okay, so those are some things you could have just named them rather than calling them complexes, because that gives me like a different kind of feel, like, for what they are. I don't know. I have to look at this again. But really, the vehicle and or foot tracks connect the accommodation areas to the facilities in the middle of the island, as well as the pier and the beach. Okay? I think that even just saying something like that would have been effective. You don't have to go into all that detail, like, okay, well, here's a footpath, and well, here's a vehicle path. Okay? So you could have just said that the footpaths and the vehicle paths connect the beach, the pier, and the accommodation to the 3 facilities in the middle. Okay, let's see. This was a little awkward to me. I already told you that. I didn't like the fact that you had just a comma here. You could have done this a lot more nicely. Let me show you. So a vehicle track leads from the pier and connects the large 3 buildings, which are connected by footpaths to the small houses. Okay, so grammatically, that's how you could have made this sentence more appropriate. That's pretty much it. So now, if I'm not mistaken, these are actually your last essays with us. I know you're doing well, and I hope you're feeling more confident, but I think that if you do have a little time before your exam, it would be nice to have you sign up for some more essay corrections so you can keep on getting feedback, so that you can continue working on this skill, because it is important to keep up practicing your writing so that you don't lose any of the gains that you have made throughout the course. Okay, see if that's something you can do. I hope so. I hope we can continue working with you. So good luck, and let us know what you end up doing. Okay, good luck.